Good morning. We talked about how you can help your thought life by having your mind stayed on God. I want to burrow down a little more on prayer and look at Philippians 4, 6, and 7 this morning. The end of verse 5 maybe is a good place to start. 5b, you could call it. The Lord is at hand. Do not be anxious, verse 6 says, about anything, but in everything. And it gives us a tool to deal with anxiety. By prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. So the posture of the heart is one of seeing God as the giver of all things, kind of in a Job-like fashion. Shall we not receive both good and bad, that in that sense, from the Lord? In other words, God comes, God speaks, God ministers, God doles out life either directly or he allows at the very least things to happen by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. Let your requests be made known to God. So bring to God the things on your heart. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, verse 7 says, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. So how do you have your mind guarded? It's giving you a practical tool. Yes, having your mind stayed on the Lord is the default. That's key. But taking it another step, when anxiety comes into your life, when you turn that with a thankful heart to the Lord and say, Lord, you've allowed this to happen. I'm coming to you and I'm offering myself to you and I'm giving you the burdens, the tensions, the anxieties, the frustrations of my heart. What we learn is that in that act, it helps our minds be at rest. It guards your hearts and your minds as the peace of God comes to us. So kind of a double down this morning. Keep your focus in prayer toward the Lord, because as you pray, you are actually settling your own mind. Getting it out, getting it off, has a freedom and release because the burden isn't yours. You cast your care upon him because he cares for you, we read in 1 Peter 5. But in that, there's then a kind of mental space that's created where peace can pervade because you're no longer bearing it. So don't get pent up. When you feel yourself pent up and frustrated, no, you got to leak. You got to leak. You got to let it out. And I don't mean let it out at somebody. I don't mean yell and shout. I mean pray, talk to your Father. As Dallas Willard says, prayer is discussion with God about matters of mutual concern. So take to him your matter of mutual concern and watch what happens to your mind as it gets freed to have peace. May the Lord bless you today.